When I bought GH6 a year ago, there was no rumor about G9 Mark II on the horizon. Some even say Panasonic would end the G9 line and just stick to video-centric cameras. Yet here we are. To us photographers delight the G9II with a phase detect autofocus and an insane burst shoot rate and most of GH6 video specs. This is the camera we have always wanted when the GH6 first came out. Without hesitation, I sold the GH6 and picked up this G9 Mark II. And this is my first impression video. Number 1. A lot of people are complaining about Panasonic's decision of putting Micro Four Thirds sensor in full-frame body. But personally, after getting so used to GH6 and S1R's massive size and weight, the G9 Mark II just feels so light and compact for me. The grip initially even felt too small. Remember that when the S5 first came out, people spoke so highly of its compactness, saying that putting full-frame sensor in a body that is smaller than GH5 was awesome. Yet today, people are turning the table and complaining about the same camera body. So what I'm trying to say is try it yourself. It balances perfectly well with the Leica 12-60 or 12-35 lens and slightly front heavy with the Leica 10-25, by the way. So it's actually really compact. Or just trust my words, this size makes perfect sense for a high-end Micro Four Thirds camera. Number 2, the burst rate in the autofocus continuous goes up to 60 frames per second, which is incredible. However, I suspect few of us would actually put it in practical use. 20 frames per second seems much more sensible and much less niche. Still fast enough to capture crucial moments. I must complain about this writing speed onto the SD card though. I'm using the V60 card, not V90, so probably that's why. But after a few rounds of 20 frames per second burst, I have to wait quite a bit to review the photos within a burst group. You can see the thumbnail of each group, but I cannot click open the group to check each individual photo. I just tested it out, and with 75 pictures taken, it took me about 30 seconds to complete the writing process. So there's 30 seconds period where you cannot review each individual pictures. So if you are in a situation where you must review and check your critical focus right after a long burst, the V90 card is probably a must. And I don't know if it will perform much better with a V90 card. Maybe it's the camera's issue. I have no authority. I don't have the card. I don't know. Shooting with a standard high burst mode though, with either mechanical or e-shutter, it doesn't seem to give you this kind of problem. You can always instantly review the photos you've taken. Number 3, autofocus improved hugely, needless to say. But exactly how much better, how well it compares to other modern cameras still awaits more testing in real-life scenarios. So far, my impression is the following. In single-shot focus, it doesn't really matter. The DFD contrast autofocus was already lightning fast on the GH6 or G9. So if you are landscape or street photographers that don't need to shoot AFC or continuous autofocus or tracking anything, then you probably won't need this upgrade. The new PDAF really shines when it comes to tracking subject and sticking to it without hunting back and forth. It directly benefits video quality. Gone is the infamous annoying background flickering in a video that's taken with the Panasonic cameras. For AFC, you can shoot with much more confidence. In my test, it works really well when shooting slow-moving subjects, like a cat strolls down the street leisurely, but it struggles a lot to stay in focus. When I was shooting some seagulls that were hovering in high speed and changing directions rapidly and unpredictably, I missed a lot of shots like in this kind of scenario. There's still a lot of room for Panasonic to improve their autofocus in this regard. When I first tried to shoot the cats in the shelter, the camera struggled to focus. Then I realized I was in human detect mode. Upon switching to animal detect mode, the camera instantly latches onto the cat in the frame and sticks to it. I wonder why there must be such a distinction, and why, with human detect mode on the camera, somehow it would rather focus on the wall behind the cat than the cat in front. Also, motorcycle mode is just oddly specific. Isn't human body already exposed while riding a motorcycle? So why not just use human detect? And also, does motorcycle mode works on people on bicycles? I have so many questions here. In low light shoot, the camera will come back to contrast detect autofocus. This is where you can wave hello to your old friend focus hunting from Panasonic. Actually, all cameras use contrast autofocus in low light, at least so says Panasonic. All in all, it's a great improvement in the autofocus department, but as you can see, in short few days, I've noticed quite a few drawbacks. I usually don't trust YouTube reviewers' autofocus test. Popping in and out of frame in a video doesn't really say much about the focus speed, and that's something the G9 can handle as well. Holding up an object in front of a camera is also a questionable way to judge the quality of autofocus. Real-life scenarios is way more complicated than these tests. We'll have to see, and this is still a very early stage of G9 Mark II's release. I really like the Leica Monochrome picture profile, and I set it on dedicated custom button so I can switch to black and white instantly on a shoot. However, I'm not very educated in the field of Leica look, and I don't know exactly where the profile draws its magic. It just looks nice, but I haven't compared it with other black and white profiles available on this camera. I just don't really care. It's there and it looks nice, so I use it. In terms of noise performance, honestly, I couldn't care less. I think I saw quite a lot of noise in quite a lot of my pictures, but I never cared. Not when I was using GH6, and nor did I switch to G9 Mark II for improving its noise performance. It's just something I never look at, and then without zooming in aggressively, you probably won't see noise in picture published on the web. I like to shoot with auto ISO with maximum set at 12,800. That's all. I think this will be my main camera for a very long time. In case you want to check out any camera and lens deals, be sure to check out the link I provided in the description. I earn a tiny commission through Amazon affiliate program, and it helps a lot. Also, I almost never nag. That's why my channel never grows. But here, I gotta say this. I gotta start saying this. Remember to subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content, and more will come for sure. Thank you very much, and see you next time.